All right, let's move on to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, she did an interview with the National Association of Black Journalists. And matter of fact, hold on, should I give y'all a I wasn't going to do this, but maybe it actually makes sense. Hold on. Let me look up, because we'll look at, just to give y'all a reminder, Donald Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists. So this is the one where Trump started off. Let me just play the. I don't know if y'all remember this. It was hilarious to me. But hold on, let's go back to this one. I wasn't going to play this one, but just to play the first couple minutes so you can be refreshed on how Donald Trump's interview with the National Association of Black Journalists went and how it started off. So hold on.
President of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were...
And also, peep, as you're watching this, the 2 women on the right, I don't think they feel comfortable with this. The one in the blue, she may feel comfortable doing this, but she probably just amped herself up because they pressed her like, all right, you're going to be the one that starts the convo off this way. But notice that the 3, obviously it's 3 women on stage. I look at all this stuff. It's very strategic in my opinion. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going.
We're American citizens, to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of
and this is where the masterful response comes.
all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act. You mean the same President Johnson that started the social programs, that started we talked about incentivization earlier, that incentivized women to not need men in the household? Yeah, that President Johnson. So I just wanted to play y'all that just to give y'all a reminder. That's the same group that Kamala Harris that I'm getting ready to show you this interview with. That's the same organization. So let's move on to Kamala Harris's because we got a lot to cover in her interview. And we shall start with, where's our first? We're going to start at 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Enjoy.
So they do their opening remarks. Yeah.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much for doing this and making the time.
Of course.
Just a little bit busy right now. We want to start on an issue that Americans across the country say is their number one concern, and that's the economy.
All right. So from the jump, you can hear, like, and I don't know, when I said, look at the three people over there compared to this setting, it just seemed like, even though what's so funny is this group of moderators, or I'm not sure, interviewers, they actually did a good job. They did a good job of holding her to the fire about answering certain things and not just giving the words out. So they did do a good job. But I do believe that they put some younger men on the panel or on the interview side to kind of, ease it a little bit. I don't know. Like, even his voice is a lot softer than with the other lady, how she introduced it or how she welcomed Trump. But especially this other lady though on here, like they hold her accountable. They hold her accountable. This other young lady as well, like especially that lady that we can't see far on the other side of this gentleman that's talking. But let's take a listen, man. Let me shut up.
A question that has been asked of you and everybody that's
Hey,
on the
Sha.
Democratic side is whether or not voters are better off now than they were 4 years ago. Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
Simple question, right? Are voters better off now than they were 4 years ago? And by the way, we got 10,000 people in the building. Please make sure that you like. We got to make sure that we like for the algorithm. But very simple question. Are things better now than they were 4 years ago?
So when we came into, well, first of all, let me just say it is good to be with the National Association of Black Journalists, and I thank you for the work you do and that your members do every day. It is very important that we ensure that this organization and your members always have the resources and the platforms to deliver the voices that must be heard. So I thank you for hosting me today. 4 years ago, when we came in during the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. We came in during...
Starting off just lying. This is a lie. This is a lie. You know what's so funny about it? So when did they come into office? They came into office in January 2021. And I got the numbers right here. And actually, this is the only thing that I don't know whether I was looking at like ABC or CNN after the debate between Kamala and Trump. This is the only thing that they actually fact checked her on afterwards, not during. They fact checked her on the fact that that she was wrong about this. So when they first came into office in January 2021, I'm going to read it from ChatGPT. The U.S. was still dealing with the aftermath of widespread lockdowns and job losses, with unemployment at 6.3%. That's January 2021. In contrast, the unemployment rate in April 2020, obviously when Trump was president, at the height of the pandemic, related shutdowns spiked to 14.7%. This 14.7% was the highest since the Great Depression. But this already improved before they got in office, obviously. So isn't that a testament of Trump? Like, isn't that a positive for Trump? Here she's trying to lead. This is the first thing that she led with. She got asked a question about whether or not things are better now than they were 4 years ago. And the first thing that she brings up is that an excuse that they inherited the worst unemployment rate since the Great Depression, and she's blatantly lying. The unemployment rate when she took office was 6.3% compared to a year earlier? Not even a year earlier in April 2020 when it went to 14.7%. So that means Donald Trump had it at the worst since the Great Depression at 14.7% in April 2020. And then by the time they came into office in January 2021, he had already brought it down to 6.3%. Why is she trying to claim that she inherited the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression when she didn't? when in fact, this is easy for us all to look up. Donald Trump had the greatest, the highest unemployment since the Great Depression. How does your team not know this? Do you just not care? Do you just not think that the people that you're looking to support you, the people that you're looking to gain their vote, do you just not think that they know? Or are you and your team not aware of this? I don't know.
During the worst public health,
like this is literally the first thing she mentions.
Worst unemployment since the Great Depression. We came in during the worst public health epidemic in centuries. We came in after the worst attack.
Let me once again remind you of the question. Were we better off 4 years ago than now? She's talking about what they came into. They came into the pandemic. Kamala, are you not aware that Donald Trump, it hit the hardest in Donald Trump? In Donald Trump's administration, this is when people were scared to death, running around, stomping each other for toilet paper. And she's talking about maybe 4.5 years ago, or you tell me when it was the height of this, the fear and everything else. And it's funny, well, not funny. The ironic thing about it is that when we associate the pandemic, I think Donald Trump being president. And a lot of people are not aware of this, that more people died as a result of the C word, the vid. More people died under the Biden-Harris administration of the vid than under Donald Trump. Fact check that, please. That's pretty interesting, but let's keep going.
On our democracy since the Civil War. And a lot of it due in large part to the mismanagement by the former president as it relates to COVID and obviously January 6th. And
time out. She just threw in January 6th. What does people, I blame the people. Y'all let them gas you up to think that January 6th was such a big thing. People did not come with weapons. People, if it was so bad, like the same group that was encouraging people to do whatever in the streets, burn down your cities during George Floyd, they're talking about January 6th, some middle-aged to old people going to a Capitol and without guns or without weapons or anything. Like, stop it. Stop it. We got to stop this. And now she's blaming January 6th for the question was, are people better off? Are American citizens better off now than they were 4 years ago?
And we had then a lot of work to do to clean up a mess. As of today, we have created over 16 million new jobs, over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. We have the lowest Black unemployment rate in generations. We have invested in small businesses, and they're to the benefit of many people, but including Black small businesses.
And you know what happens? It's such a shame, because what happens is when you lead with BS, like the things that you mentioned that I know were BS, that I let y'all know were BS, because you lead with those things, it forces me to question or just totally disregard what I think a lot of people do. When you lead with BS and people know that you're lying, what do you now do with the other information that you're given by that person that you know that is lying to you? You now disregard them, right? So she just mentioned some things. Why not just lead with that? Why not just say, yes, we're better off, or no, we're not better off? Here's why. If you're going to say yes, that we're better off, then lead with that, saying, yo, Black unemployment is down. Say those things. Don't just say lies.
The highest rate of creation of new Black small businesses in years. We have done the work of capping the cost of prescription medication for our seniors for issues like insulin. And again, I'm speaking to the Black journalists who care about all people, but in particular, I'll talk about the impact on Black people, where we know Black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. And we have now finally.
Yo, what are we talking about? Yo, for real. How long is it going to take her to answer this question?
Cap the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month. Cap the cost of prescription medication for our seniors at $2,000 a year, because we, unlike the former president who promised to do it, we finally have allowed Medicare to negotiate drug prices against the big pharmaceutical companies. And these are just some of the accomplishments.
The Medicare, she should have led with that. She should have led with the black unemployment rate. Lead with the truth. Just say the truth. You don't have to say the BS. You don't have to say the BS, because truth be told, most people that are probably in my position that are presenting the video to y'all that call her out for lying are not even gonna pay attention to the fact that, okay, black unemployment was down the most that it's ever been. Hell, that's a positive. Clap it up for that. Even with keeping the cost of allowing Medicaid, or what you say, Medicaid or Medicare, to negotiate with the insurance companies. Yo, talk about how that impacts people's day to day. Talk about how that allows people to afford the medicine that they need, or the medicine that they need because of the Food and Drug Administration is just poisoning us and forcing us to have all these terrible cancers, these terrible other diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, all this other stuff that we suffer from. Talk about it.
Is the price of groceries still too high? Yes. Do we have more work to do? Yes. And I will tell you, I do believe that I offer a new generation of leadership for our country.
Bro, once again, the question was, are people better off now than they were 4 years ago?
That is about, in particular, turning the page.
We're not talking about the new generation of leadership that you offer if you're elected. We're talking about right now, as the position that you are in as vice president. Are things better off now than they were 4 years ago? Why is this so difficult to answer?
On an era that sadly has shown us attempts by some to incite fear, to create division in our country. And
to incite fear and create division in our country. This is the same person that Mark Zuckerberg just called out her administration, along with Biden, for censoring information. Censoring information on what happened in 2020. Censoring people that were telling you to not be fearful. Censoring people that were saying, hey, they're just trying to use fear in order to make you get that thing in your arm, so they can make a lot of money. So Fauci can collect on his royalties that he makes from the Moderna. I'm being a little careful in because I don't want to say certain words, because last time they got me for giving information that doesn't align with them. They're censoring. We know what it is. Like, stop it. Stop it. You are the ones that use fear mongering. You guys are the ones that say if we vote for Trump, then he's going to use Project 2025 to put us in chains and shackles. And now they got the nerve to talk about the fear on the other side. We got to be real, man.
And to do the work that is about bringing some level of optimism and, dare I say, ambition about what I know is possible in our country. And so my plan for the economy includes what I imagine and believe and call an opportunity economy. What we can do to grow an opportunity economy where all people have access to the resources to compete, to apply their incredible work ethic, their ambition, their aspirations, and their dreams, and actually not just get by, but get ahead. And I can talk in more detail about it, but specifically, I'll mention a few things.
Yeah.
One of the big issues that affects people right now in terms of the economy and their economic well-being is we have a shortage of housing supply. It's too expensive. People can't afford to buy a home. You know, we grew up, our parents, where they had the ability to somehow believe the American dream was attainable.
Yeah. You know what this looks like? This looks like a kid in the classroom that you supposed to, you know how you were in the class and you were supposed to do the reading, but you forgot to do the reading. So you may have even like quickly, luckily if you had the Spark Notes back in the day, if you had the Spark Notes, but that was hard to get. It's not like you could just get internet on your phone easily or whatever, just look it up as we can now. But it's the kid in the classroom that, yeah, we've been sitting in class all the last 2-3 weeks. We knew we were going to have a test. We knew we were going to get asked these questions, but we did not prepare as best as we should have. And then when we start getting asked the questions, let's say it's a presentation, we get up there in front of the class, and now it's like, oh, I thought this was going to be a lot easier than I thought. Like, you're just making up stuff to the point where I can see her thinking, why does she have to think about this? Yo, shorty, how many times have you been asked this question? This is very simple. This is very simple. Yes, we're better off. I'm going to tell you the areas that we're better off specifically. Black unemployment's down, this down, where the cost of medicine is down, boom, boom, boom. here's some of the areas that we still need to do some work on. Like, what is so hard about that?
Not so much for younger working people. And I recognize that. So my approach is a new approach, which is to say, let's just take this and deal with it head on. And part of my approach is to say, I'm going to employ and engage the private sector, in particular home builders with tax credits, to give them the incentive to create new housing, 3 million by the end of my first term, and understanding that not everybody is, handed a silver spoon, but works hard and is trying to save up for a down payment. Part of my plan under my opportunity economy is to give first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance so they can just get their foot in the door.
Okay, so you're giving it to them out of your pocket? Or are we printing more money to give it to them, which is going to just increase inflation even more? Or are we going to take it out of people's taxes, so we're going to pay for it? Like, haven't we realized that printing money and using our money is not going to do it? We have to think of ways to actually make more money, which, going back to the video that we played before this, with Donald Trump putting pressure on a John Deere type of company to say, hey, if you don't keep American jobs here, then we're going to charge you a 200% tariff. If you want to move your plants to Mexico from Iowa, cool. Now we're charging you 200% tariff to bring it in here before you can sell it to our people. That makes the country money. That's not just printing money. That's not just taking it from the actual American people. She talking about giving 25. Okay, give 50, give 100. It's still, we're paying for it. So either you're printing it and causing inflation, or you're taking it directly from the American people.
To be able to then engage in what will prove to be their opportunity to build intergenerational wealth. And here's my personal experience coming at that. I grew up a middle-class kid.
Oh, Queen's
My
called
mother
it.
was hardworking. She raised me and my sister Maya. She saved up, and it was only by the time I was a teenager that she could afford to.
Yo, and the only reason I'm allowing this to keep playing is to so y'all can see. I started this video at 3 minutes and something, like 3 minutes and 30 seconds when she was getting introduced, and they got right into the question, maybe at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's say that 4 minutes and 30 will be nice. It's 8 minutes and 33 seconds right now. Does anybody and if you are a Democrat or a liberal, if you're a Kamala fan listening and you agree with her, yo, make it known in the chat. Yeah, there's a lot of people that may be hiding back saying, well, I think she answered the question. Yo, she answered the question for you. Let it be known. Just say, she answered the question for me. I don't hear it, or it's just not believable, maybe.
To actually buy her first home.
Are we better off now than we were 4 years ago?
And I know, and I identify with, I know where I come from.
Madam Vice
President. And I know, I'm just going to finish. I know that so many people work so hard and should have the opportunity to just get their foot in the door.
So they try to interrupt
Again,
you?
so it's not just about getting by, but getting ahead. Please.
I'd like to ask you more about the opportunity economy.
All right, so she never answered the question, and that goes back to the Oprah. What's so funny about, we just showed the Oprah interview with her. And remember, we showed on Monday where she was asked, I believe she was asked the same question. It may have been the same question, or maybe it was on something else. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what the question that she was asked. So when she was on Oprah, she was asked by Justin. See, I got my notes. So if you go back to the last show, in the Oprah interview, she was asked by a gentleman by the name of Justin, Black American guy. And he was asked about, what are your plans for the border? And that's when Oprah, she went on this whole word salad answer. And then Oprah finished up and said, well, so to answer Justin's question, she's like, if this border policy, are you going to make sure that it gets to your desk if you're not? Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next part, because obviously I'm not going to torture y'all and have us just listen to this entire, I think, 48 minutes. But we are going to move on to talk about the war between Israel and Palestine. Let's move to 1846. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.